Story 1. Got a fire axe on the wall, encased in glass. Break in case of zombie apocalypse. But seriously, die probably. Return as one of the Walking Dead. Might finally get those 10,000 steps a day in. Story 2. Depends on the zombies. If they are 28 days later or left 4 dead zombies. Kiss my ass goodnight because I don't want to be a Lunchable. Slow Romero zombies? Get a pool cue and put a stabby metal on it. Get my pistol and shotgun too and do some pesticide. Slow zombies are easy. Story 3. Assuming Romero zombies and not the speed zombies, I would do quite well. They are slow and stupid. I could survive easily until one of my neighbors attacks me for a can of beans. Zombies are easy. People are dangerous. Story 4. Grab my bug-out bag we had to prepare in my hostile environment training for work. Grab my girlfriend. Get the other bug-out bag from the bedroom. Send my friend the signal to meet near the rallying point we picked out during the pandemic. Pick him up with his family. Start walking to my other friend's place. You know, the one whose parents have their farm above the old Russian air raid bunker. This is all happening in eastern Germany, with the high fence and its own water supply. Get there about a day and a half later while avoiding major roads. Hold up there for a while and hope they have been keeping up the ration supplies from the farm they say they have been. Figure out next steps then. It was a long pandemic. We had time to talk about a lot of things. Story 5. I am a paramedic with a hunting license and a hobby interest in wilderness survival. My wife has about 20 cows and a dozen chickens. We live in the countryside and have our own well dug, with our house heated by firewood and 3 generators should the power fail. I hoarded so much spare ammunition that I could not fit all of it in the gun cabinet and so had to get a spare one. So what will I do? Better than most. Story 6. I would probably try to get some friends together to pool resources and manpower. Figure out a way to impede access to the front and back doors of the building I live in. Figure out another way to get around, maybe roof and fire escape hopping of some sort. Plant a garden in the backyard. Stock up on machetes and crowbars and learn to use a crossbow. Work on my cardio. Story 7. Lock myself at home. Eat perishables first and fill up as many water containers as I can. If I run out of food or water, raid abandoned neighbor apartments. Zombie flesh rots in a few weeks or months, but most of them will probably just starve after most people have already turned. Unless it's magical zombies or something like that, in that case I'm doomed. Story 8. If the zombies even find their way into my small village and wander several kilometers into the forest where my house is, then they have earned my brain. Story 9. There is a 90% chance that, if it is like every movie or television show, I will succumb to the illness within the first week. If I survive that, I will take my machete, my bug-out bag, yes, I have several, my bicycle, and whatever small firearms I can carry to the woods. If I can take my recurve bow as well, I will, but I am not well versed in making new arrows. I know the flora in my area well enough to survive among the trees until next winter, and I can travel quietly enough with my bike and machete to not draw attention. Best of all, outside of Reddit and YouTube, I can handle being alone very well. The hardest part for me would be that we are in the middle of winter right now. Food would be scarce. I live in the tropical band of America, so there is no snow, just a blistering cold and chill while most vegetation shrivels up until spring. I will be looting the cans in stores and such, but more likely the corner stores rather than supermarkets. The amount of rotting meat in supermarkets would make me lose lunch immediately. Corner stores have less of it exposed. Canned, bagged, sealed items would be best. Most zombie outbreaks would likely last around a month if the movies and shows are to be believed. Being off-grid for a month sounds like a nice vacation. The aftermath would be hell, though. Story 10. Let me think. I would probably focus on staying safe and securing essentials. First, I would find a defensible location with access to food, water, and supplies, maybe a high-up spot or somewhere isolated. Then, I would team up with others I trust because surviving alone is tough. Finally, I would stay quiet, avoid risky areas, and always have an escape plan. Being smart, cautious, and resourceful would be key. Story 11. If it happens in my country, given that I live on an island, we can block it off from the mainland. If it's in my city, which is a mountainous island, the best course of action is to destroy bridges and certain roads while securing and walling off certain high areas. Stovit 12 D. I'm disabled, and I can't run. I'll do my best to make sure my dog doesn't suffer before it spreads. I'm not terribly worried because the only zombies I know of are staring at their phones. She types on her phone, with insomnia. Story 13. America has nearly 400 million guns, so my guess is I board up the lower level of the house and arm up like the rest of the folks here and call it open hunting season on zombies. The National Guard and the Army finish securing the border quickly, and the problem is solved swiftly. Story 14. A slightly more serious answer. Either go down to the sailing boat and live on that. You can fish for food, and there is a fair bit of fresh water already on there. Or head into the countryside with my tent, dog, and fishing rod. I like my chances on the water more, though. Story 15. Getting my guns and my brothers, and we are going to secure our middle school, which was built in a secluded area on a hill with open ground on all sides. We are going to clear it of the undead and establish a headquarters to wait the apocalypse out. Classroom doors are bulletproof because America, food is plentiful and full of preservatives because America, and there are solar panels, rain collection, and one-way windows already installed on the property. Story 16. My husband and I have discussed this very debacle. If they are fast zombies and we are in a death or sacrifice situation, he can sacrifice my asthma, allergy-prone, glasses-wearing self to save his completely healthy self. With slow zombies, we have to save each other. Basically, I'm bound to die with my health problems. If my glasses break, I am out of luck. Story 17. Assuming the Winchester is already populated by your doppelgangers, or you are not within a lorry's window, would you go low or high? Like, if you were in a major city, go to the top of a skyscraper or hunker down in a bodega. Story 18. Hope the highways heading to the north of my state aren't packed as can be and try to go that way since it's less populated if you go up far enough. I've only been once, but I'd guess people would try to make it to this pre-enactment camp that exists up there, so probably try for that. Story 19. Load the guns, grab the pug, take my funeral home's van. I feel like as long as you have weapons, you have a decent shot at acquiring food and whatnot, so guns make a lot of problems solvable. Story 20. Sleep with a soldier so he lets me in their tank or military base in secret. They have emergency food there for apocalyptic situations anyway. Go to SpaceX. Kill Elon because he's a weirdo. Go to Mars. Story 21. First, I am grabbing all the snacks I can find because if I am going down, at least I am well fed. Then I will try to find a safe spot, but knowing me, I will probably trip over my own feet and end up in the middle of a zombie horde. Classic. Story 22. Bullet to the head. I'll go out on my own terms. I will need to buy a gun though, which isn't easy in Australia. There are loads of checks, safety training, and there's probably psychological testing involved regarding one's mental fitness to own one. I suppose I'll be required to join a gun club. You know what, that's just too much work. I'll just turn on the gas stove and flick the lighter as the hordes of undead are breaking down my door. Story 23. If it's true, undead walking corpses, hope it happens during summer and wait a couple of weeks. There'll be a pile of goo by then. During winter, hope that the United States government has actually done training with Concept Plan 8888 in mind. Story 24. Realistically, I would probably die. I am physically disabled and am quite literally blind without my glasses on. Plus, I have to get my eyes checked every 6 months because of potential retina tears, and every year I need a new prescription. One wrong move and I am completely blind. So yes, I would die. Story 25. I am in a very densely populated area and do not drive. Yes, I do not stand a chance. Even if I did drive, I am on an incredibly densely populated small island, pretty much the worst situation you can get. Story 26. I would start by heading to the closest warehouse, get camping equipment, fishing gear, hunting items, and then leave the city and survive in the wilderness. Story 27. Wait it out. It wouldn't take long to get under control. Spreading a pathogen through biting is incredibly inefficient, and humans are so good at murder we've wiped entire species from existence. Even rage zombies wouldn't last long. Cracked had a great article about why the zombie apocalypse wouldn't be that bad. Story 28. If I am stuck in Paris during work, I am lost. In my own city, I have a few chances of survival. There is the forest, many isolated houses, boars everywhere, and rivers. I can also steal a car and drive to that isolated anarchist community, but I would count more on the fact that people will leave my city. I will scavenge in all these beautiful houses. Story 29. I'm in a massive city, so bad luck to begin with. I know as soon as chaos hits, all the roads are going to be closed, and walking out isn't a good option. The best bet is to bunker down and fortify where I can, wait until winter, and then see if it's possible to hunt a zombie with a sledgehammer. Story 30. Lock the doors, mix up one last batch, suit up, and grab the gun. As the horde descends into my home through the now destroyed windows, I hear the distant screech of a bald eagle. It beckons me to join the battle and swiftly issues a second screech, a promise that, should I fall, he will personally escort me to Valhalla. I open the door and sound my barbaric yawp over the rooftops of the world. Raise hell, praise Dale. Yeehaw. Forget the law. Story 31. I live in the far north of Finland, and it's the middle of winter. They would freeze in a few days or weeks. If they magically don't, I would probably freeze to death myself after enjoying what I can of doing nothing. I have no real interest in fighting to barely survive. Story 32. Torture everyone in my suburb to get their credit card information. Use that to supply fuel while I head to a military base. They should have set up a barricade and security. Dump credit cards, show my identification, prove I am not infected, get inside, start hoarding guns and ammunition. When the base gets overrun, disappear with the hoarded loot, live in solitude in the wild, use bows to hunt, guns only for desperate measures against hordes and humans. Forget everyone else, self-preservation is key. Story 33. I've been on bed rest in the hospital for 7 weeks, so I'd make like Rick and firstly stumble badly out of bed, then dodge loads of zombies. In reality, I'd fall flat on my face and get eaten. Story 34. There's a nuclear bunker built under a Federal Emergency Management Agency facility in my city. I only know about it because I got curious about the secret government building and Googled it. It was built during the Cold War, I believe, so it makes sense, but that's where I'd go. Story 35. I live in one of the least densely populated countries in the world. I would pack up the camping gear and get out of the city. There are plenty of isolated places to go hide out. Story 36. Probably try and stock up on as many supplies as possible, lock myself in my apartment, then die of starvation. I assume at first governments will try to combat the situation as best as possible and will provide some kind of assistance to survivors. If it turns into an I Am Legend scenario, then yeah, most of us are doomed. Story 37. Try to find a safe space with my family. Struggle to understand what is happening. See if there is a way to procure food and water safely. Adjust to the new reality. Either fortify the safe space or move, depending on the situation. Story 38. Take as many down as I can so the rest of the survivors will have fewer to fight later. I would save the last bullet for myself. At age 55, I have not only lived a good life already, I have amassed a considerable quantity of ammunition. I am also in a second-floor apartment, so I have a relatively safe vantage point to call them in using myself as bait. My apartment complex parking lot is going to look interesting after a few days. Story 39. Get a rope ladder off the balcony, lock the door, live as long as I can, use the rope ladder to scavenge. My neighbors think I'm crazy because the military is actively taking care of the problem, but I'm living as if it's Zombieland. Story 40. I will try not to have a panic attack or faint. I am terrified of zombies and highly sensitive to gore to the point where I can faint. I will contact all of my loved ones, make sure they are safe, and help them as much as I can. I will also help people in the building I live in, reassure them and help them calm down. I will make sure everyone works together, which is not going to be easy, I know. I will barricade the building and apartment, gather every supply we can to survive and defend ourselves, and make weapons with what we have. I will cut my hair short or tie it in a way that zombies do not grab it, thanks to the Walking Dead games. I will learn how to fight, make plans to search for supplies when we are short on them, and keep pots and dirt to grow food. I think that's it. Story 41. Just stay home. The weather will deal with those pesky zombies. When normal people have a hard time walking on the ice, zombies are not going to be any better. Story 42. I have read all the Walking Dead comics and watched the show. In both versions, the lady who gets a katana and starts using it on everything that moves, and the guy who lies about being a scientist who can save the world to get some soldiers to protect him, survive the entire apocalypse. That gives me some ideas. Story 43. The variables during a zombie apocalypse are too numerous to name, so the odds that I will survive, as well as my loved ones, decrease exponentially daily, if not hourly. I will probably survive a couple of weeks or months before dying of hunger, disease, turning into a zombie, or fighting someone for supplies. Story 44. Depends on what kind of zombies. If it's the Walking Dead zombies, I'll grab my metal pipe, go out, and start bashing in heads until they are all gone. Seriously, how did the Walking Dead universe have so many zombies? Just fight them off. They are slow as can be. If they are the type of zombies that walk fast, then we'll just wait for the military helicopters to arrive with snipers to shoot at them while we are all confined, like in a quarantine, and use one of those large drones to deliver food to people in need. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that if a zombie apocalypse started realistically, all the corpses would decompose quickly, so we'd just have to quarantine for a week or so and wait for the government to organize people to get rid of any waste left by them.